All right, ladies and gentlemen, take two of Jinro versus ViBe on Shakura's Plateau. This is game number 2, of course, of the IPL 3 qualifiers. And we've got ViBe, the green Zerg, spawning on the top right-hand position of Shakura's Plateau. And on the bottom left-hand position, we do have his opponent, Liquid Jinro, the yellow Terran at the bottom left. And of course, Jinro has lost the first game already, so the pressure is kind of on, because if he doesn't win this game, he's out and he doesn't have a shot at AC, unless he wants to re-qualify through, qualifier 2, 3, or 4.
Yep, certainly. Or he could just show up to the event as well and try and fight his way through the 256-man open bracket.
That is kind of true as well.
Yeah.
So I guess for the player of Jinro's status, it's not exactly, end-all, be-all.
Right.
So I guess not too much pressure, but hey, if he wins here, he gets a free shot.
Yeah, and that's certainly what you want. I mean, it takes a lot of responsibility off your team, relieves your burdens as well, ensures that you have the. What did you see there over in chat?
Somebody in chat was like 4K overpaid. Is it Alienware? Talking about the computers. By the way, guys, if you guys are wondering what we're talking about, this is a live broadcast as well as recaptured for VOD status, so you guys can see the videos right afterwards, which basically means you guys should watch these videos live if you guys want to get that live interaction going with the chat. And you did say,
Yeah, this is interesting.
You didn't stroke the beard, though.
Yes,
What's going on?
Indeed.
What's going on, Cat's Pajamas?
All right, well, Jinro was setting up for 2 racks. That's pretty plain. So he's got a couple of different options. Where he put the supply depot means that he can wall this off with 3 racks at the front. Your ramp to your natural is pretty thin on Shakura's Plateau, so it's pretty easy to take advantage of in that regard. Now, furthermore, a lot of Terran players lately have been going after this triple bunker, wall off right here at the natural expansion of Zerg opponents as well. And as ViBe did decide to go for hatch first, we'll see if he gets down a pool after this. Looks like he's going to have that 200 for a 15 pool. There it is. Yeah, so 15 hatch, 15 pool, no gas first, so we will have a little bit earlier lings out. But Jinro's going to be able to do some pretty significant damage if ViBe doesn't know this is coming. But, he does scout Jinro first, so he sees the 2 racks.
Yeah, he does scout the 2 barracks opening from Jinro, and it's kind of expected on a map like this, Shakura's Plateau. More often than not, a Terran player is going to open 2 barracks to punish the Zerg for opening 15 hatch, which on this map is very good to open 15 hatch. So we have a little bit of the metagame over the metagame here. ViBe just needs to make sure that he builds his queen at the natural first and produces a set of lings, a couple of sets of lings, to deal with the potential bunkers and the Marines, and he's got to get those units out as quickly as possible. Wants to be careful about that Overlord as well. Doesn't want to lose that Overlord and get supply blocked, and he is going to pull about 6 drones off the line here. Really early pull, but the nice thing about that is he can keep the drones at the natural to mine while he waits for the spine crawler and the defenses to come up.
And here we go. There is bunker number 1 and 2.
Double bunker coming up.
A lot of drones coming out, though. There's already a ton of drones pulled off the line. 10
micro
in total, in addition to the spine crawler. ViBe actually sending those units back individually has prevented the construction of 1 bunker, but there's the 3rd, and so these Marines are going to be quite a bit more protected. This SCV will go down, but this bunker is still going to provide pretty good defense, and these Marines have already racked up a few kills.
Yeah, not great. Not bad right there. Not great. Not bad right there by ViBe. He was able to kill off the SCV constructing the bunker on the northern side, and he opened up a hole, so that's going to allow his forces to come around the side and attack the bunker from the back, but it looks like the Marines have ran inside. No SCV here to repair, so that means that the spine crawler will be able to kill off the bunker, and the Marines hop out, salvaging the bunker. It is going to... I don't know if we got salvaged right there.
No, that was really close.
That was pretty close. I was like...
It was really interesting. Jinro dropped out 1 Marine out of his bunker, or it just happened to be that that's where the one was expelled whenever he unloaded the bunker.
Blech.
But then the spine crawler started attacking that, and it actually allowed
the bunker to possibly be salvaged.
Yeah, I think it was really close. Yeah, Jinro did have a lot of resources built up, immediately put that into a command center and double refinery and a supply depot, and it looks like he is not done with his harassment. He's going to move in with these Marines, and at the very least, he's causing yet more lost mining time from ViBe.
And it's actually forcing ViBe to invest into a second spine crawler here, realizing that 1 is not providing enough coverage if those Marines decide to run up into the main. I'm not sure why ViBe hasn't constructed the queen at the natural. There's the queen finally being built there at the natural. I believe there's already a queen in the main, but when you're dealing with 2 barracks pressure, it's usually the best idea, from my opinion, is just get the queen at the nat, because it can be used as a defensive unit, and it can also be used to block the ramp in case the Marines try to run up. And there we do have that 3rd barracks coming up at the ramp of Jinro, which, like you said before, Cat's Pajamas, very smart, prevents the links from running in, and he can expand safely behind it.
Yeah, and it takes a little bit longer for Banelings to be able to crash through that as well. Let's actually take a look, take stock as to what happened afterwards. Workers kill tab shows that Jinro killed 8 drones in his attack. Let's see if that equalized the number of workers on the field.
Pulled ahead.
Basically,
he definitely pulled ahead in that attack.
Yeah, that was really, really well done for him. Jinro was actually going up to double factory as well, so Blue Flame Hellions incoming, in before Blue Flame Hellions. And there we are. That third barracks being pushed back just a little bit.
Yeah, I noticed that Jinro opened up with 2 gases after his expansion, or right after the command center went down, and that's usually an indication that the Terran player wants to go into mass Blue Flame Hellion, which we do have those 2 factories coming down right now. Tech Labs on one, and I believe a reactor core will be coming up on the second one. We also have a Tech Lab on that barracks on the outside as well. So no doubt after the Blue Flames, we're going to see a natural transition into Marines and tanks, and we'll just see how that plays out for Jinro. He's, as a Terran player, you can sit back on 2 bases for a fairly long time, get that economy going. You don't really have to worry about that 3rd base until your timing push goes out.
Right.
And for a Zerg, what a Zerg needs to do is get that 3rd expansion up as soon as possible. And it does look like ViBe is just droning up for now, but we should see that 3rd expo coming up pretty soon. And look at that. Jinro has a Marine right there to wait for the 3rd.
Yeah, and that Marine is certainly in a pretty good position as well, because unless ViBe wants to take the harder protect pocket expansion, he's going to be not forced, but he's probably going to send a drone down this way, and that Marine should be able to dispatch of that pretty easily. But nonetheless, here we go. Looks like no reactor coming down on the 2nd factory for now. He's going to content himself with just double Hellion production.
I love the supply depots at the natural as well. It's just a second layer of defense. It's like trench warfare, World War I. You had the first trench. If the Germans invaded, you would fall back to the 2nd trench. I'm sorry if there's any Germans here. I'm just speaking from Americans' point of view. But you would fall back to the 2nd trench, fall back to the 3rd trench, raise the walls up, and it's just smart play, man. I love how Terrans use their buildings so wisely. I love watching that.
The Germans are not amused.
I know, man. You are German. No wonder you didn't laugh at my joke. Can you do your best German impersonation?
Storm the
trenches.
Will offend so many people on stream.
Say storm the trenches. Do it.
Storm the trenches. Anyway, we have hatchery turning into a layer at the moment. Baneling Nest is already done, so ViBe going to go to that same unit composition we saw last time. He'll be going for that Ling, Bling, Muta build, but already Jinro going to push out with a few Hellions, although, once again, ViBe pretty well defended, so...
Yes, ViBe is pretty well defended right here. He has 2 spine crawlers at the front. I don't know why he didn't throw an Evo chamber right there to just make that as narrow as possible. Zerg players can also use their buildings pretty wisely as well. And you know what those Hellions remind me of? They kind of look like dolphins. Have you heard about the 9 dolphins?
I have heard this rumor of 9 dolphins. Yes, I am well aware of the 9 dolphins. But here we go. It looks like Jinro going to make his way up. Unfortunately, he gets a couple of units killed by the Spine Crawler, now sitting with 3 kills altogether. Didn't lose any of his Hellions, though, so he's going to run back for the moment. Here we go. ViBe putting down more Creep Tumors, and I would assume he's going to expand eventually, or at least try to, but he is establishing Spire first, and he's going to get up his first round of Mutas before he ever decides to.
Looks like he's going to stick with that Muta Baneling build that worked pretty well for him in the last game. Chat's kind of blowing up right now. As soon as I say 9 dull, I don't even have to say the rest of it and people go ballistic. I don't know why. Is it really that funny?
It was... I don't know. I like the Reddit post that was like, this is a dolphin according to HD, and it was just a picture of a Mutalisk. But anyway, here we go. Unfortunately, the Marine did not complete his job. The hatchery was able to get down, but the Hellions are going to come through, and that is going to force a cancel, or at least ViBe's units to move out of position. Although, nice job by Jinro. He keeps 1 Hellion out to at least distract those units for a while so we can detect them moving down. And old Marine Bob is still continuing to work on this hatchery.
I'm surprised the Marine wasn't able to prevent the hatchery from going up. I thought it was placed at the right spot, but it looks like ViBe here is in a bit of a situation. He hasn't canceled his hatchery yet. It's getting pounded away by 1 Marine, and several more Marines are on the way. The Mutalisk coming here thinking, hey, there's only 1 Marine to kill off, and we'll be able to keep the hatchery alive, but the rest of the Marines have arrived, and it looks like that hatchery will have to get canceled. ViBe here taking a huge hit, canceling that hatchery. Jinro coming in with a beautiful timing attack, and now ViBe has an opportunity to break this. The Banelings are rolling in, and the Marines are splitting apart, and what an attack by ViBe. It looks like he will be able to clean this up because, of course, there are Mutalisks now and no anti-air, but the damage was done to ViBe, losing that hatchery.
Yeah, still a pretty nice split, though, by Jinro. He took out the hatchery, he took out 1 or 2 Mutalisks. Oh, he's got to get the medevac away, unfortunately. ViBe did intercept that, and all those units are going to go down. Okay, there we go. A couple of Hellions make their way out. Nope, they're going to get intercepted as well. They managed to take out a Baneling and a few Zerglings on the way, so not all was lost. And a little bit of a forest fire. So.
A little bit of forest fire. Smokey does not approve. I feel like ViBe came out a little bit ahead there. Although he delayed the hatchery and he had to re-cancel it and rebuild it, killing off all the Terran forces and then coming out with all your Mutalisks alive is actually pretty good. He has to try to affect some damage here, but Jinro is so good. He's always got turrets everywhere. Loses a Mutalisk as well. Its organs and body parts falling to the floor below, and we do have a Hellion coming out across the map with Blue Flame. But as I was saying, ViBe needs to try to do a little bit more damage with these Mutas. He's done some significant amounts already, but if he can bob in there, weave in and out, and maybe pick off a few SCVs, that would definitely be helpful right now.
Well, he's taken out a couple of Hellions that had actually already proved cost-effective, so he hasn't done much damage at Jinro's base quite yet. He's got to bounce in there, though, like you said, try and affect a little bit more. He's got 13 Mutas, and that's enough to take out one non-repairing turret pretty easily, and he should be able to crash through an SCV line. There was actually almost an anti-timing there, where Jinro had almost committed all of his forces away, and those Mutas would have ran in. But looks like Jinro is going to remain at least in position for the time being. Moving out, he will turn those around. No, I'm a dirty liar. Looks like the missile turret was alone enough to push away those Mutas.
Well, there was a second turret coming up, so what ViBe went and did was go in there and kill off the SCV building the turret, and then decided to fly out. So he's just trying to harass Jinro wherever possible. Looks like a dropship is being loaded. It's going to go to the south and cross over that Overlord, I believe. So, oh, this could be bad for Jinro. The Mutalisks are coming down for ViBe as well, and ViBe has a chance to intercept, but the dropship decides to turn into the main and decides not to take that unsafe flight route.
Yep, and let's see if it decides to move out here in a little bit. One turret immediately gets
those
destroyed.
tanks are so
Another
exposed.
one coming up. Oh, he's got to watch out he doesn't get one of those picked off, but ViBe is going to go ahead and run away. The Marines were close enough that they pushed all those units away, although it did force one stim out at the very least.
Yeah, that was actually really close. I think ViBe had an opportunity there to maybe pick off a single tank. I love, though, how he's flying around, picking off Marines wherever possible. He's got control of the map, and he also double expanded. Look, as that expansion was canceled, he built one to the south and then built one further south as well. So he's got a lot of gas intake right now. In fact, all extractors are fully mining. It would not be surprising to me to see cardboard fall away from the window, to see him switch into infestors.
Yes, actually,
wow,
it looks
like
completely
down.
And
now we have
look at the light on the
glare.
webcam. This is special. So now suddenly a ray of light from God himself has extended upon my face. And I am super bright. But nonetheless, here we go. Looks like this medevac was shut down once again. It's going to drop down. That is pretty awesome. Looks like there's a spotlight directly on me.
I know, and I feel marginalized now. I don't feel as cool as you are, man. This is not fair. We need another window here that just kind of shines light on me as well.
God doesn't love you as much, HD. Repent! Repent, heathen! Repent!
I'm not even going to go into the religion debate right now. We have a game here of StarCraft 2. It looks like ViBe is flying in with a lot of Mutalisks, and wow, I don't know what happened right there. I thought there was a dropship, but there is a dropship coming up from the north side. Oh! And barely dodged death right there, those Marines did.
Yeah, and ViBe is, well, at least ViBe's pulling back and not committing his Mutas forward too far. Otherwise, it would have been pretty hard for him to react in time, and Jinro had been able to cross those units. But with Jinro going past the Overlords now, well, now the Mutas are making their way down to the southern position, but Jinro stims up once again, and he's going to start pushing ViBe back farther and farther.
You know what? I'm sorry. You know what I really like about Jinro right here is how he's pushing out at the same time as the dropship is moving out across the northern side of the map. If you guys look at that yellow dot up there, that is the dropship. It is going by a bunch of overlords, but Jinro is attacking multiple locations right now. He's got a drop already going on in the south, and this is what all good Terrans do. They'll attack from multiple locations, and that makes the Zerg just go into a frantic, hectic mode, and they're not able to respond to everything in time. And look at that, Marine bombs going off to pick off Banelings one by one. The dropship coming in from the north as well, and the Terran is pushing in the middle of the map. What a brilliant three-pronged attack coming out from Jinro.
Yeah, and he denies a lot of creep tumors in the middle. At the same time, he's doing quite a bit of damage up here.
Oh, the spawning pool is gonna go down!
That's actually really big because ViBe's entire army at the moment, he did make 36 lings before this, but the vast majority of his attacking forces are lings and banelings. The banelings run in. Jinro was not paying attention a little bit, gets a good few clumps of Marines destroyed, but the rest of the banelings do have to pull away. But Jinro, his control was really, really good there because even at the bottom right-hand position, when he knew that his attack was going to get cleaned up before he could do any significant damage, he still picked up and was one by one destroying banelings and retaining cost effectiveness.
Yeah, it's just showing that he was microing despite all the action going on in the field. He was attacking 3 different locations and still microing that one part where he could extract the most value for his Marines. And we do have him seemingly pushing into the center of the map here. A lot of Mutalisks at the north side threatening to attack the tanks, but Jinro, ever the present Terran, has Marine clumps everywhere to defend the most vital positions. He does have some Marines now coming into the middle of the map. He needs to receive that creep, and oh my goodness! A big trade right there of Mutalisks and Marines. It looks like ViBe, though, has enough to break that.
And at the same time, Jinro is doing another drop down to the bottom right-hand corner. Nice transfusion goes on to save the Spine Crawler, and Jinro's denying creep tumors across the map, and there were several creep tumors down, so this is actually very, very effective. He knows those Marines are going to have their lives forfeit, but it's okay. They did their job, served their mission, and the Mutalisks do clean up the rest.
That's one thing that's really annoying for Zerg. When the creep tumors start to go down, it's kind of hard to just bring out a queen and start spawning new creep, because you're in such a frantic mode at the late game, and we do have a dropship that was intercepted there, so finally ViBe getting a lucky break. He has a lot of Mutalisks too, but when the creep goes down in the middle of the map, it can be really hectic for Zerg because they just don't find the time, at least not I don't find the time to bring out a new queen, plant some new creep tumors. It's really, really hard to do that, so it's annoying for Zerg. We do have a position set up from Jinro here. I love how he's throwing up the Thor, Marines, and a tank on the high ground. That's going to make it ever more difficult for ViBe when he decides to attack through the middle.
And yeah, that position's going to be really good, but there were a couple of good things that ViBe did right there as well. He denied the base down at the 6 o'clock position, picked off a couple of siege tanks that weren't really doing anything. One had just finished his little mission of busting through the rocks there, but nonetheless, ViBe did a pretty good job, all things considered, but now he has this massive defensive position to contend with that you were talking about before.
Yeah, and that Thor is so good, man. I mean, not only is it on the high ground, but the Thor forces the Mutalisks to use the magic box. You're unable to fly in and micro your Mutalisks the way you would want to because of fear of that Thor just smashing your Mutalisks apart with that Thor's hammer. So it is very hard now for ViBe to go around and snipe tanks and snipe small lone packs of Marines. He's got to fly in as a mass kind of spread out clump, and that is kind of difficult. But we do meanwhile have Greater Spire coming up for ViBe. He is going to transition into Broodlords, which will be able to take out that high ground position, but I don't know if he's got enough time to do it. The tanks are pushing forward, and the Banelings and Lings are rolling in. Carnage and devastation everywhere. It looks like there are not enough Banelings, though, to take out those Marines in the back, and Jinro will hold his position, and that is terrible for ViBe.
Yeah, I mean, ViBe needed to push him back. He needed to push him back right now. Looks like he is going to be able to pick up a Thor for free. So nice little game there. Picks off a bunch of reinforcements as well, but now there's a Thor, several Vikings, and pure Marines coming back after that. But at the same time, Jinro running in with a good number of forces. There were some Banelings that were morphing in here, and they got completely obliterated. This third base is going to go down. He may be able to take out the fourth as well. He's also moving in and denying creep tumors over at the natural. Doesn't really matter if all those units get cleared up. They're merely to go ahead and delay ViBe for a good period of time as he kills bases down in the bottom right-hand corner. Banelings do move in to kill the rest of the Marines, but Jinro did the damage he wanted to do, and he still has hold of that defensive position in the middle.
Yeah, what a devastating blow right here by Jinro to ViBe. ViBe is definitely suffering. He's flying in here with his Mutalisks, but they are clumped up, and those Thors are going to do so much damage. I think there are enough Mutalisks to break through there. A couple of Banelings running in as well, but they are not going to be able to hit those Marines in the back. Oh, it's so close. The Mutalisks just barely surviving, and with those last few Mutalisks, they will be able to pick off units on the high ground, and ViBe finally breaks that position that Jinro has been holding on for the last 2 or 3 minutes, giving ViBe a little bit of breathing room, it seems like, but no, he's falling back, and Jinro's macro is starting to kick in.
He kind of broke that position.
He kind of broke it, and then it was repaired.
Yeah, but I mean, Jinro still traded very effectively for where he's at, especially establishing a new mining base over here at the top left-hand corner, and he still has retained control of the Zelnaga Tower. So I still think Jinro came out ahead there.
Yeah, I mean, ViBe lost all his Mutalisks.
Yeah, he had to use a lot of forces to be able to even find some sort of equity there, and I don't think it was there. But nonetheless, Jinro going to drop down at the bottom right-hand corner. He is bound and determined to do damage down here. The ViBe has been able to reinforce pretty quickly each time. We'll see if he's able to have the same sort of success here. I would assume Jinro would turn around with those Marines now. Waiting. No, okay, no, he's more worried about moving his units to the northern Selnaga Tower, so we'll check in on those Marines in just a second.
Those Marines might be a little bit scared to use the drugs right now, so they're waiting. And there they go. They're going to stim in their Speedy Gonzalez's, and they're going to take out that spine forward almost immediately. The drones are now exposed. But I just want to call attention to how Jinro is playing such an aggressive game against ViBe, and ViBe isn't doing anything. He's not attacking the Terran at all. We have a huge engagement at the top of the map with those Broodlords and Lings, but honestly, ViBe is not being aggressive in this game. He's not finding opportunities to attack Jinro, and he's allowing Jinro to constantly be the threat. And that's not how you're going to win this game of StarCraft, because Jinro is the type of player that will be dropping multiple locations at once. You can't play a defensive game all the time. You got to distract Jinro by attacking his economy.
Yeah, but Jinro made a little bit of a mistake down at the bottom right-hand corner. He was trying to focus down the hatch rather than just going after drones. If he'd just gone after drones and queens, I think he could have killed probably 10 or so drones in addition to that queen, but he actually ended up getting nothing. The ViBe moving in now. The Siege Tank's doing quite a bit of damage to the Zergling Ball, though. It's going to force those units back. ViBe does have a good number of queens here, and nice transfusions going down, healing up all those queens so that these Marines can't do their damage. However, the Broodlords did not receive any such treatment and did fall down.
Yeah, two things I want to point out right here. The great tank positioning from Jinro right there, which is able to shell those Marines that do extend themselves towards the hatchery. It does look like ViBe was able to clear that up for now. And the other thing I want to point out is the fact that towards the late game, when a Zerg player starts to transition into those heavy units, Broodlords, Infestors, Ultralisks, they will typically start to pull queens off the line, because if you think about it, you don't need that much larva production if you're building the big units and not building a bunch of Zerglings. So you can use the queens to transfuse, and that's exactly what ViBe is doing. The transfusion is key on Broodlords, but we do have another drop down in the south, and ViBe is possibly going to be able to take out that hatchery. It is in the red, and the drone's coming off the line to save that hatchery at the last second, but so many drones are going to go down. That's devastating for Jinro. Excuse me, ViBe.
Once again, though, Jinro was trying to focus down the hatch right away instead of going after drones, and he actually could have taken out quite a bit more forces. I mean, granted, he still did a ton of damage, don't get me wrong, but nonetheless, here we go. One of those Broodlords did go down. There are 3 more remaining in that little clump, but ViBe finds himself back in supply one more time, and his bases are being denied over and over and over again. He's not really able to find a foothold, and we see Jinro once again expanding to the top left-hand corner.
Yeah, I love how Jinro is using his tanks and positioning them so smartly across the map, right behind the rocks, and we do finally have ViBe with the response here. He's transitioning into Ultralisks, and he has a Nidus Worm coming down, so he is going to try to most likely Nidus the northern position where he's already got an Overlord there, and this is exactly what he needs to do, Cats. I mean, he has not been aggressive all game long, and he knows that. He knows to win, he's got to distract Jinro in whatever way form possible. And so the Nidus is about to come up. Looks like the Mulos are going to greet that command center. They may actually take it out. A couple Marines stemming back to deal with that, but the command center is going to go down.
Yeah, good little game there for the for ViBe. He could decide to run away after that, but he attacks into a bunch of Marines and ends up losing 1, 2, 3, 4 mutas. Almost loses a 5th as well, and loses an Overlord that was being sent across, or almost loses one that was being sent across. So he was trading equitably there for a while, but then ended up not, and it looks like that got killed, not canceled. So another 100 lost. At the same time, Jinro is double dropping. He's going after the Greater Spire, and he's coming down here to the bottom right-hand corner. Once again, it looks like he tried to run through and take out the hatchery, but the Spike Crawlers were able to clean that up.
Oh my god, the Mutalisks are going to go down trying to save their building.
Yeah,
they're trying to save their building, the Greater Spire, their home sweet home, and it ends up going down. Jinro is dropping multiple locations right now. He's playing such an intelligent game, and ViBe is scrambling right now to defend all these positions, and it's such a hard game to play against a smart Terran player like Jinro. How do you defend all these locations? It's almost like we're almost watching MMA's play style right here. Multiple drops all the time. It looks like a hatchery is going to go down as well, and another devastating blow to ViBe's economy. I don't know how ViBe is going to continue in this game.
Yeah, ViBe actually losing units in mass there. Looks like Jinro going to try and go after this hatchery one more time. Is he finally going to get it this time? We'll find out. It looks like a few Marines are being sent to the top left, maybe to drive away another Nidus Worm. And yes, Jinro, after about 4 drops, finally does take out the hatchery this time around. Also crashing through these drones. Finally, Zerglings are being sent in to go ahead and respond. We do have, let's see here, he's pointing up here. It looks like a bunch of units going after those Overlords. And I also heard a Nidus Worm somewhere.
Yeah, there's definitely a Nidus coming up somewhere right now. It looks like it's in the southern position at the 6th.
Yeah, there it is.
So just allowing ViBe to attack that location if Jinro decides to expand, or perhaps an expansion of his own. But we do have another Nidus coming up at the same time, and I love how ViBe is using Niduses at will. It looks like a couple of Ultralisks have popped out, and there is a vulnerability here, but is it enough Ultras to break through that planetary fortress? I don't think so.
Well,
not with the Thors and the Marines there, and they will fall back into the Nidus and try to find another location to attack. And oh no, the Broodlords and the Corruptors have been opened up by the Vikings, and they have been scudded apart by the Viking missiles. Devastating blow once again to ViBe. He needs to keep all of his forces alive right now.
There was actually pretty good decision making down here by ViBe as we have another nice storm at the top left. It's not that he maybe even couldn't kill the planetary fortress. It's possible. It would have been a good fight. But he decided that because of the lack of mining there, that it simply wasn't worth it. So he's just going to make his way down to the... Oh, wow. Actually transfusing the Nidus Worm so all the units can come out. And now he has a ton of Ultras here, bypassing the defenses of Jinro.
And it looks like a couple of Marines are going to stim themselves into the Nidus and pick off the Nidus Worm, cutting off all reinforcements, and that means the Ultras will not be able to get out. They kill off the planetary fortress, but there is no escape route for ViBe unless he erects another Nidus Worm, and the Ultras have to fall back, and they're cornered in the wall. There is another Nidus Worm coming up. Is ViBe going to be able to save his forces, or is he going to lose everything here? This is a determining moment, and those Marines have stemmed up. Those Ultras could all go down, and the Nidus comes up at the last second, and they escape. Oh my god, they just pulled a Houdini right there.
That was really good hit-and-run tactics by ViBe, but unfortunately, still, he has not been able to reestablish these 5th and 6th bases. And if he can't, yeah, that was kind of interesting. Oh, he saw the siege tanks were within range. And if he simply can't do that, then it's going to be very difficult for him to try and find his way back into the game. Jinro moving in with yet more units. I mean, killing Jinro's base was very, very, very good, but ViBe needs to establish these 5th and 6th bases ASAP.
Did you see those SCVs chasing down those Ultralisks?
Yeah.
They're like, don't go anywhere, come back here, you!
I've got you with my drills and my axe.
And my cigarette.
Anyway.
That, they were going to burn a hole through the Ultralisk hide. That didn't work out too well for actually, you know what? ViBe did a pretty good job, and it's something that he's been needing to do all game is harass Jinro. And he pulled that off with minimal losses, I would say. At least killing off the planetary is huge. But if he loses his hatchery down to the south again, I just don't know what he's going to be able to do. It is in the red, and it looks like it is going to drop to those Marines. Another blow to ViBe. ViBe is playing, you know, I hesitate to say he's playing a sloppy game. It's more like Jinro is just playing an uber aggressive game, and ViBe is having a hard time dealing with the multiple attacks all over the map.
Well, he's kept control of the map in the center, and he hasn't relinquished it the entire game.
Thank
so, I mean,
goodness.
that's
I mean, if there was a
important.
tank line here, he would be, I don't know how he would deal with this. But,
Yeah.
but he's holding on, definitely.
Yeah, certainly. But Jinro looks like he's just playing the starvation game. He's once again establishing the base of the top left-hand corner. Has remade his orbital or floated one over. I'm not actually sure which. I think he remade an orbital here over at the 10 o'clock as well. At the same time, he's moving in and trying to re-deny this base. Looks like the siege tank is in range to intercept units that are moving out to the front. Nice fungal growth going down, stopping those Vikings.
Yeah, not bad at all. He knows that he's transitioning into Broodlords right now, so the Vikings were a good counter to that, but the Infestors, of course, countering that. And that means that the Broodlords should be free to do their damage here. And this is the spot that ViBe has been waiting for, where the Broodlords are free to wail away on the tanks. Is Jinro going to unsiege? Yes, he does, preventing the friendly fire from those arc-like cannons. But, excuse me, not arc-like. So it does look like ViBe has a position here that he needs to hold no matter what. Where are his queens? He's got a chance to use those Broodlords, or they could go down, and just a devastating attack here back and forth at that expansion for ViBe.
Yeah, workers are pretty consistent between the two players, so that 29 supply discrepancy is entirely an army at the moment. So Jinro does have a pretty good advantage there. ViBe has these very, very resilient Ultralisks, though, behind this. Oh, but he gets all of his Broodlords forward, doesn't have any support for him, yet he's going to run it with his Ultralisks afterwards.
Transfuse! He's keeping his Broodlords alive, almost certainly. The Ultralists deciding to turn around at the last second. I never knew that Ultralists were that cowardly. They should have ran in there, and I almost feel like ViBe had an opportunity there to break the Terran stronghold in the middle of the map, but he's fallen back into this choke point, which does not bode well for those Ultras, nor those Queens, which are off fleet, and that can't be good for him. So he's got to fall back here and recuperate, re-band-aid his forces, and regenerate. But, you know, I almost feel like he had an opportunity there to break Jinro's forces in the middle of the map, but he hesitated, he pulled back, he still hasn't been able to establish a hatchery at the southern position, and it looks like that dropship is going to move in for another Marine strike on that hatchery.
There is a spine crawler there this time around.
So
maybe it'll delay long enough for him to swing in some links, but if he does that, I would expect Jinro to go ahead and move out. Look at this couple of tanks on the high ground going to siege up and start picking away at the hatchery. That drop starting to do some damage, and yeah, Jinro is forcing ViBe to pull some forces back, which is going to make these siege tanks that were sitting on the high ground just that much more effective. There we go. A few Zerglings finally making their way in, and those units aren't going to be forced to move away.
Wow, 55 drone kills here for Jinro. Beautiful play so far. It looks like the hatchery is being shelled from the high ground on that plateau, and the tanks are going to be able to pick it off with the help of the Marines. And oh no, ViBe is going to lose another hatchery unless he can come in here and save it in time. The siege tanks have switched their fire over to the Ultralisk, so the Ultralisk absorbing a little bit of firepower there for their home, but it looks like the hatchery is going to go down, and there's the hatchery exploding into a spurt of blood. And this is it for ViBe. He's got to break this position. A beautiful fungal growth over those Vikings and the tanks, but it's not quite enough. And ViBe has no forces to spare.
Nope, he's throwing down a couple of fungal growths now to do what rest damage he can, but still Jinro firing away with the 17 kills. Siege tank at the same time. He's dropping down here at the bottom right-hand corner, doing a lot of damage.
Oh my
The Ultras
goodness.
run in, but they're chewed up by this huge Marine, and now it looks like a little Marauder and Ghost Force
Yeah, the
as
Ghosts
well.
are using some sniper fire right there to repel the Ultra sniper fire. Surprisingly good against all Zerg units, including the Ultralisk. And it looks like Jinro is pulling ahead in this game. Slowly but surely, the Marines are everywhere all over the map. It looks like another hatchery was sniped down there, and ViBe is diminishing in forces. He's just got ragtag Ultras, which are bleeding to death. They're all in the red. A couple of Lings, a couple of Infestors in production, and that is it. And Jinro is just bullying his way into a victory. Now the Queens are being told to fight. I'm sure wasn't in their job description. And, you know, that's just showing how desperate ViBe is at trying to pull a win here.
Yeah, well, he has no production and no economy at the moment. He's making 3 more Infestors, but he's virtually out of gas. He's and he just simply can't build anything else at the moment. And no even attempts at a run-by with Lings or anything like that. He simply can't find his way through these forces. He's down to no mining bases. This is all of his economy. His supply is completely out. And really, at this point, we're just waiting on the GG.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I think ViBe has been outplayed by Jinro. Jinro showing a very, very aggressive Terran versus Zerg style, which worked out brilliantly for him. He was attacking multiple locations. He was using stims to pick off drone lines and pick off spine crawlers. He was using his tanks on the high ground, which is one of the features that not enough Terran players use on Shakura's Plateau. It's a very good feature. I hope more Terrans start using it, not against me, of course, but against other Zergs, because it's fun to watch, and it's difficult for the Zerg to deal with. It forces the Zerg into Mutas or Broodlords or Mass Infestors. So it's been a great playstyle so far from Jinro.
ViBe is so stretched for minerals. He's trying to put another base down here in the bottom right-hand corner just so we can mine like the 700 resources that are left. I mean, that is how starved he is at the moment. But it looks like Jinro may be queuing up for a big push now. He's got all of his forces gathering in the middle, and he could basically move in and just destroy everything. There are no Banelings present. There's only a couple of Infestors, and as long as he gets a little bit of a spread, he should be fine. Oh, he's going to lead with Ghost, though, so we'll see if he can get off those EMPs that he needs. The Broodlord goes down right away. This Ultralisk not really going to last long either, and there we go. EMPs go down, and there's the GG.
Yeah, there's the GG indeed. Well played by Jinro.